Hey guys, welcome to the show. This is Fantasy Football Scouts. My name's Rob. I'm with Dan and Scott.
Yes, sir.
How goes it?
You can follow us on Instagram or Twitter at Fantasy Football Scouts. We also have a YouTube channel where we post these the podcast episodes, audio only. And today we're going to be talking about tight ends. And it'll be a little bit shorter than the other positions, but I mean, right, we only have one tight end on our team. You probably don't draft two.
I can make it real complicated and ramble on about some nonsense, but I mean, it's going to be real tough to stretch this one out, boys. I'll tell you that much. We have a real finite amount of players in this pool.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're gonna talk about guys we like, guys we don't like, some sleepers and busts.
I'd say that in most of our other episodes, there won't be a lot of structure to the must-have sleeper bust because there's very few. That's more players than there are even in the category per se.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's sort of an individual basis thing almost with these guys where you're talking about. But we'll give it
it's pretty straightforward,
we'll give
right?
it a go.
Like when you look at the rankings for this position, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, there are some interesting sleepers, but they're still well-known players. This isn't some big surprise.
Yeah. All right. So one guy we'll talk about this guy first. Kyle Pitts, rookie. Drafted highest draft pick ever by the position.
He was quite the pre-draft story.
Right. So how do you guys feel about Kyle Pitts, tight end,
If
Atlanta Falcons?
if you watched him at Florida, you know that this guy is just a touchdown waiting to happen. He actually got his boy Kyle Trask drafted as the heir apparent to Tom Brady, and it was like trying to tackle an 18-wheeler. You just couldn't bring this guy down.
Yeah.
When I tried to rank Kyle Pitts, it was like a game of whack-a-mole. Is he a must-have? Is he a sleeper? Is he a bust? I really couldn't quite peg him down.
He's a rookie, right? It's
tight end rookies never do well as a historical thing. They're usually not as high pedigree as Kyle Pitts is. His ADP is pretty high.
Yes.
So you're going to be fighting for him if you want him. And the thing with this new fantasy landscape is that no one is a hidden secret anymore.
Yeah.
So it's really tough to rank and figure out Kyle Pitts.
I really like him, but I don't know if I'm ready to pay a high pick.
And that's exactly where I was at with it. I mean, maybe training camp will give us a bit more of some signs of good or bad or what have you. But man, right now I'm just like, I don't really need to be bothered with this. I can reach up above him or I can go way down below him and probably make my piece.
I think someone will reach for him, like in our draft.
I just meant like you may as well just reach up and go get someone above him, in the pecking order, or just wait and go. That's what I meant. That's what I meant by just avoid it. I mean, it's gonna be you're gonna be tough to fit him in depending on how you do your draft because he's going to cost you something.
Exactly.
Like you said, right now he's going around the 5th round, which sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
but time will tell where he actually will go. It is very possible that he jumps up easily into the 4th round. That's only 6 more picks.
Yeah.
He's easily the most volatile player on the draft board, quite possibly.
Yeah, I think people will reach for him just because of the hype behind him, right?
Absolutely. I don't have, I like to put numbers to a face, and college numbers, I don't when we're talking about making the leap, it's not the strongest argument to make when you're talking about.
So Dan, who do you got for a guy you really like at the tight end position?
Safest guy I think in the draft right now is Detroit Lions TJ Hawkinson.
Okay.
I think that he's going to be the number one target, and Goff has shown that he can get his tight end the football.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, an earlier episode, I obviously completely forgot about poor TJ because I said I wouldn't draft another Lion besides DeAndre Swift, but that's actually completely incorrect. I completely forgot about TJ Hawkinson.
So you like Hawkinson?
I do like Hawkinson.
Didn't you draft him last year?
I picked him up off the waiver wire because some poor soul, I believe it was Brian, dropped him because he was playing pretty poorly, and he really he took me home. He was quite good. He has pop ability. This guy has some big games where he can lead the tight ends. in scoring for the week.
All right.
Hawkinson had 67 catches, 101 targets, 700 yards, and 6 touchdowns. It's not eye-popping, but just remember how bad Detroit was last year.
Yeah.
And he kept it together. You know, I can see him easily taking a step forward, even with Jared Goff, who I do not like. It's pretty hard to screw up a tight end. You know, just hit him for some slants, hit him for some whatevers, and let's see how it goes. You're getting a decent. Ironically, he's going right behind Pitts.
Yeah.
So if you miss out on Pitts and you feel like you really want to get a name brand guy, he might be the last bastion because there's not a lot of sexy names behind Hawkinson. So I think we're in agreement that he could be. I do have him the must-haves like Dan does. I just don't have him as high or as the first guy. So
a lot of them are just like the quarterback. You know, you either have a guy or you don't.
Well, I'll start off with the extremely obvious because we talked about this earlier. You know, because my fears of Kelsey being a potential bust, not because of who he is, just because of eventually the wheels do fall off NFL players. You keep drafting Antonio Brown year over year over year, Calvin Johnson, and eventually you're the guy that gets the unfortunate, like, damn, I should have seen it coming. So after Kelsey, there's actually a huge dip right now between ADP. You know, Waller and Kittle are going 20 picks after Kelsey. That means that if you really want a tight end and you don't get Kelsey, you do have a pretty significant or large window here to actually grab one of the best tight ends in the NFL.
Yeah.
Waller.
That's a tough call, as much because I really like Kelsey. And
yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
of course. He won
yeah.
me a championship
it's
last
just
year.
The cost is astronomical right now because he's still going at the first round.
Yeah,
now.
no,
like,
exactly.
The hype is real.
Exactly.
Kansas hype,
so,
you know.
So my question is do I use my first round pick or my early second round pick on Kelsey, or do I wait for Waller or Kittle?
My opinion is this, because I've felt this way ever since Gronkowski broke the damn league when he was just going nuts, and then the same shit happened with him, and then it happened with Jimmy Graham. I will never draft a tight end in the first round because there's no reason to draft a tight end over an elite wide receiver like Tyreek Hill or DeAndre Hopkins.
Unless it's Travis Kelce.
Yeah, it could work out for you, but
Yeah.
generally with these tight ends, you need a lot of touchdowns to make up for the yards. They do not. You have to realize that a lot of the elite receivers will hit 1,400 yards. You know, they will hit 1,300, 1,400 yards. The tight ends don't. The tight ends, we've had a few lately that have done it, but generally they don't get that many yards. So you need them to be touchdown heavy.
Travis Kelce, 1,416 yards.
Yeah, he was an absolute machine
11
last
touchdowns.
year.
Tight end record.
Yeah.
11 touchdowns.
But remember, Tyreek Hill had 17 touchdowns last year. So that's what I'm saying, though. I mean, it's just one of those things where you're giving up a little bit of receiver cachet for and let's face it, like we said, you only dress one. So I understand where everyone in the pro Kelsey camp is coming from, but I'm just saying, here's what you just mentioned, Kelsey. Here's Waller, 107 catches, 140 yards. Targets. Yeah. 1,100 yards and 9 touchdowns. So he was pretty close to him.
Waller is a beast, man.
Kittle was hurt last year, but the year before that, I wrote down his stats for some comparison: 85 catches, 107 targets, 1,000 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So you're getting fairly similar production for these guys, almost 2 full rounds later. If you really want to have that elite tight end, you don't need to use a first round or a swing pick on Kelsey. So it's a tough conversation that we've been having since the days of Graham and Gronkowski. You know, and I am anti it because I will take the elite receiver instead, who I just feel better about myself.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Dan, what do you got?
No, like I've had Kelsey there for 3 of the last 4 years, generally because I'm at the beginning of the draft and he's been there in the late second round, but now you're paying the extreme gold premium and there's no way that he's going to replicate
even
that.
In the second round, sorry to cut you off, Dan. I'll
Yeah.
let you finish. Just even if you're not, though, the second round is still chock full of elite talent. You know what I mean? So
I don't know, man. Travis Kelce.
But again, like I got DeAndre Hopkins last year on this, for example, in the second round. I'm just saying that there's still really good players that you're going to be potentially giving up for to take the tight end.
Yeah. Just don't expect that stat line again because
it's really
a
tough
really hard
that's
stat line
my
to reach.
Point was it's really hard to reach 1,400 yards as a tight end.
Yeah. So, like I said, Kelsey won me a champion. Well, he was on my team
Which is
last
that's
year.
a great feeling.
When and I won a championship in
Yeah.
my buddy Brian's league. I'm in 3 leagues. I'm not in a bunch of public leagues like a lot of people and brag about their 12 championships. I'm in 3 leagues. 2 of them that I run. The third one is our mutual friend Brian's league, and I'm the back-to-back champ in that league. And it's a tough league, so I'm super high on Kelsey because of that. But I'm still undecided because there's a couple guys that you can get much later that I'm really high on, and I'll mention these guys right now. So I haven't decided if I'm going to go Kelsey, depending where I draft. I'm really high on Irv Smith for the Vikings.
Really?
How do you guys feel about him?
Well, now that he's the only tight end left in Minnesota,
Kyle
because
Rudolph is gone.
He's gone to New York. There's definitely opportunity there because Dalvin Cook, most of his touchdowns, I believe, don't come from the 1 yard line. They come from like the 15 or 16.
Okay.
I had not write his name down, so I have
No.
absolutely no interest in Irv Smith. Just didn't really even think about him.
Really high on Irv Smith. I got Irv Smith ranked 11th and 8th on 2 different lists here.
And it makes the most sense because it gets really ugly after the first 6 or 7 tight
So
ends.
I mean, I'm not sure what round you're gonna have to draft him in, but it's gonna be really late. You can get him. You can
he's
get
not
him
a guy
really
you
late.
have to reach for, I would say, for sure.
So Irv Smith is really high on my list, or he's high on my radar. And another guy that I really like to at the tight end position is Tyler Higbee. Gerald Everett is gone.
Who you can also claim that is a great pick as well because Russell Wilson, he makes a star out of his tight ends.
Is Higbee a...
Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, that's a
No, it's the other way around. Higbee is
Everett.
the Ram.
Everett is a Seahawk.
Everett's a
Everett's
Seahawk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Everett's the Seahawk.
Sorry,
Higbee is
derail
the
you
Ram.
there. I was just curious about that.
So yeah, good point. Everett's another good pick because Wilson is a stud. Higbee and Stafford as well as the quarterback. I think that's an upgrade compared to Goff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 2 guys I'm really high on: Irv Smith and Tyler Higbee.
I'm not really a fan of Higbee. I don't have anything bad to say about him. I see he was drafted so he is being drafted. He's not someone that I look at really.
I think just the value has increased because his competition is gone.
That's fair.
Right?
And when it comes to tight ends, like it's either you have one of the top guys or it's going to be a revolving door.
Yeah, I just say that, but I actually have a few sleepers coming up here that.
That's the thing, right? If you don't have Waller, Andrews, Kittle, or Kelsey, like it's kind of like you're just picking guys up on a weekly basis.
You mentioned Andrews, so I'm not gonna say much about him. He's kind of a low ceiling, high floor ish guy where you'll be all right to have him. He's not eye popping, but he's around. One guy that should get to. Well, the mysterious case about Philadelphia here, we've been keeping an eye on Dallas Goedert to see if he gets the reins or what's going on with Ertz. He's supposed to be traded. It still hasn't happened, so it's a strangely long time that we haven't seen this move happen yet. I'm personally really waiting to see where Ertz goes and where he lands because he's one of my potential sleepers right now based on if he can get out of Philly and have a bit of a resurgence here.
Yeah, for sure.
Just whatever you do, don't be going drafting guys like Mercedes Lewis, blocking tight ends.
Yeah.
It's really dicey after here's the guys that I had written down. Obviously, Kelsey, Waller, Kittle, Andrews, Pitts, Hawkinson, Goddard, Noah Fant, Higbee, and Gesicki. Those are the guys that were getting drafted.
Yeah.
Everyone else was somewhat free game. So
you guys got any busts? Guys you're avoiding?
Big potential for the bust there is Noah Fant. I put him right there with a guy like Evan Ingram, who I think it's time that we just give up on because you just keep banging your head against the brick wall with Ingram, and he's shown flashes, but he's a smaller tight end that can't really block. So
I had a hard time even coming up with busts for tight end because it's such a small pool. And like I said, I kind of was eyeballing Kelsey for that eventually, but maybe not this year, just eventually. It's unfair thing, but it's just one of those things keeping your eye on. And then, like I said, Kyle Pitts was just the real enigma where I couldn't figure out what exactly to do with
I
him.
have
So.
I have one bust, and I know one of you's mentioned or is going to disagree with this. It's the New England tight ends.
Yeah,
So you
that's
got
me. Yeah, it's
Jonnu
me.
Smith
I'm really high on
and
them.
Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
I got those two guys as a void, and Scott, you're thinking the opposite.
Yeah, it's just it's some teams have an identity, and it seems like New England's identity is strong tight end play. I mean, that could be just a product of who they had, and maybe it won't go that way. I've been
both on new teams though, right? They're both new to New England.
I've been a Hunter Henry truther since his rookie year, and it's not really gone well, but it hasn't been because of his talent though, because the guy is really freaking talented.
Injuries,
some injuries. That LA team, and they are cursed. I'm telling you, getting out of LA is the best thing he ever did, because I think that it'll improve his circumstances dramatically. There's just a few things working against him in LA. Like I said, Justin Herbert was not targeting him for whatever reason.
It'll also improve his tax bracket.
Whatever. That aside, New England.
Good point.
We talked about it with the receivers, but they don't even have any receivers. So I think that the targets really are there for the tight ends.
Dan would disagree.
Oh, I know he would.
Dan would disagree.
Kendrick Bourne.
Deep sleeper, I know. Watch over Kendrick Bourne. Listen, these guys ran one of the most successful 2 tight end sets I've ever seen watching football. Back when they had Gronk and Hernandez, it was something legendary. So I'm just wondering if they are gonna run that back again. That's.
Do you still have that Hernandez?
I do still have a Hernandez jersey.
I wonder if that's like really expensive
for
now.
anyone.
Because it's counterfeit.
For anyone that doesn't know, I bought a Hernandez jersey the month before he went to jail for what he did, and it was like, are you kidding me? Like I ordered this guy's jersey because I was absolutely in love with him as a football player.
No, you can't wear that.
1 month later, I've worn it to your place, but it's like one of the craziest things ever, man. Like, are you kidding me?
All kidding aside here.
I don't know, man.
If y'all want a deep sleeper for tight end?
Yeah, we want one.
All right, now, I'm going up to Western New York, and I'm going Kelvin Benjamin. He's trying out as a tight end.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take that seriously until he makes the roster. But
so
he is in New York now.
He is as of right now. He is.
Okay.
I don't think you'll see him on that draft board. I'd be shocked if he was.
I mean, deep sleeper, right?
Deep sleeper.
That's exactly what you expect out of a deep sleeper.
Yeah,
it has him listed as a wide receiver, but he's actually trying out as a tight end because he's built like a tight end. 6'5", 245. Like this guy is
he's massive.
Yeah, his early 20s didn't work out in Carolina, but he
had weight issues, and he is a tall guy, so he could potentially play the small tight end position. I don't know. I'm not even sure he's gonna make the team.
6'5", 245
so
pounds.
We'll see if he makes the team or not. But like I said, one of my real sleepers is Zach Ertz if he gets traded off of Philadelphia, or if they make nice and something goes pause, because he's been a quality tight end for his whole career, and I'm not sure what. Doug Peterson really, like I've said it a few times in this podcast, but he just made a mess of that team, man. Everyone's feelings were hurt. Everyone's not better for it. I'm not really sure what happened here, but Ertz wants out, and we're still waiting to see how that all shakes out for him. So.
All right, and I got Irv Smith and Tyler Higbee, and obviously I really like Travis Kelce as well with a high first round
as
pick.
most people will. He'll be in everyone's book or what have you.
Yeah, but the question is are you willing to risk you or use your first round or early second round pick?
I am. None of that.
I am. I'm willing to do it.
And if you're gonna do it, just try to have a plan for who you're hoping to target after that. Because people don't really understand this. Once you pick one guy, you got to start looking down the board now. Okay, so I can't get these guys. So who's my options? And people don't really seem to. I get it. It sounds like a lot of work, but it's not when you're looking at specific players. You're not looking at the whole board anymore. You're just trying to eliminate and cross names off and start thinking about who you can get. It's it can work out. Anything can work out if you plan it.
Ideally, it'd be nice to have like the 8, 9, 10 pick, and then
so
get them on the way back.
Comeback.
Get them on the way back.
Well, frankly, again, that's going to happen regardless because of all the running backs. Like, no one's ever going to not take these running backs. It's ingrained in society. They all want to take the bell cows, and that's never going to change. So it is what it is.
So I mean, that pretty much sums up the tight end position, right?
I would say one more for. It's not really a sleeper, but I just like what I wrote down is whoever Russell Wilson's tight end is that week. You could play him. Russell Wilson is a real target of the tight end. When you start to identify these quarterbacks and if they love to target the tight end, you know, like, oh, well, I don't care who this guy is, just gonna plug him in and give him a shot.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and it's worth it because they can get 2 touchdowns that game, and you know, it's fine. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm surprised, Danny, you didn't bring up the Green Bay tight end. I thought you would because
Tunyon, yeah. He's he had a decent season, a lot of touchdowns, but he scored them in bunches. So if you don't have him on the game where he scores 3 touchdowns, you know.
Yeah. And friendly, this is really the end of the tight end. I mean, Gesicki is around, and he actually had some of all the guys on Miami. Gesicki actually had a bit of a pop last year where he was starting to put together a little bit of tight end success maybe. So if you really want to reach deep for that guy,
Yeah, Gesicki's ranked pretty high, but pretty good value.
Yeah, I mean it's okay, you know. I mean,
Tunyon, I think Tunyon is gonna get drafted a little bit earlier than we expect.
Maybe.
But not by me.
I mean, if anyone doesn't know, once the tight ends start going, there's no way it's completely random after that. Once a few of them go, you won't see any great run of tight ends.
No,
it's like, oh no, whatever will I do without Noah Fant?
I'm shit out of
like,
luck.
oh no, my season's over. It just doesn't happen. You're gonna survive. You're gonna move on. You're gonna find someone to plug in there and.
All right, that wraps it up.
Yeah, and don't roster 2 tight ends unless you're really confident in your team because it's tough to do that.
Appreciate you guys listening, and like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, Fantasy Football Scouts.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. See you later.